Here we go.
It's recording.
Yeah. Hi, Genesis. I just wanted to
Hi.
say thank you and really appreciate you coming on here and doing this interview for me, because I want everybody to know how my book, My Growing Heart, affected you and how it can help others as well. So I just want to introduce you and just sort of tell you about everybody how I met Genesis. We've actually never met in person, have we? But we've only just contacted online. But I actually met Genesis' mum, Yolanda, about 3-4 years ago, and we actually met on a plane, and we just clicked straight away, and we just got on so well. And from that, we got talking about Genesis, and you were struggling a little bit at the time, weren't you? Because how old were you at that time?
I was 16
16.
years old.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you were struggling a little bit with just getting through your teenage years, weren't you?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Especially.
So do you want to just tell me, what you were struggling with at the time? What sort of things that you felt that you needed help with?
Yes. So, hi everyone. My name is Genesis, and right now I'm 19 years old, and I'm from Treviso, a city in northern Italy, near Venice. And right now I'm attending my last year at high school, and I'm really looking forward to go to university and set my goals for the future. As my teenage years, I've always been an ambitious person, and I view life as a gift for making the dreams come true. And for that, I've always set high expectations for myself and perhaps maybe too unrealistic. And I think I really believe that this may be the cause of why I struggle a lot through my teenage years. So, um, yeah, as we will discuss on it in
Yes.
this interview
Yes.
about how the book Growing Heart changed me and also helped me because it really did help. So,
Okay.
Okay.
I know it's okay. I just wanted you to introduce yourself, and at least that way, just to get an idea of what you were struggling with as well, so that because obviously as a team we all struggle with some areas, different
Yes.
areas as well, and so you felt that you were maybe trying. Do you feel that you were being a perfectionist? You were expecting too much from yourself?
Yes. And I think that is not really a flaw. I think that is a very great thing to always set high goals. But the thing is, it didn't really help me because I was not in my best times. So it's like a contradictory. It really did the opposite effect of what I wanted. Instead of actually gain more confidence, I I gain more difficulty to appreciate myself and also my achievements. So this is what really I've been struggling with through my teenage years.
Yeah, I think that too, because I'm quite like you in that sense. I've spent my life being a perfectionist, and I always wanted everything to be just right, and I just had set myself high standards. But the trouble with that is that I never managed to reach it because perfect doesn't exist. And I've been always
Yes.
trying to be perfect, but of course, because perfect doesn't exist, I always fell short. I was never good enough. And I think, is that kind of how you felt as well?
Yes.
Yeah.
And when my mama suggested me to read it because she was the one who said, "Hey, you should read this book," to be completely honest, I was not really looking forward to it because, of course, it was the last of my problems to read a book, and I thought it like I really felt like nothing would have helped me at that point. But after a lot of thinking, I said to myself, why not? Let's give it a try. And as I began to read the first chapters, I felt like someone was finally able to understand me. And that was something that I didn't expect at all.
Oh,
So
okay.
I really, yes.
Oh, that's really nice. Oh, that's really lovely. It's nice to hear that, because I actually haven't spoken to everybody that's listening. I haven't spoken to Genesis and for 2 years. Well, we have texted and things, haven't we? But we haven't actually had a conversation really about the the book, have we? Because we went over it 2 years ago, and I coached Genesis through the chapters. And as I was writing them, I would write one chapter and send them off to her, and she would give me feedback. And I was getting such great feedback. It was fuel that I needed to keep going. And you seem to, you know, as you said, you felt that somebody was actually listening to you. They could hear you.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So let me just think. So you were doubtful about reading the book in the first place, because I remember you saying that you didn't really like reading, and how did that change?
Yes, back then, I actually like reading now, and I actually liked reading also back then. But the fact was, when you are in a particular situation, you don't really look very excited to do the things you loved before. And I think teenagers can see themselves in this sentence, because maybe you have a lot of hobbies or interests, but as soon as you not have that confidence anymore and not that happiness, you just let yourself not be interested in those things anymore. So this is what happened to me, and that is why I told before that I was not really excited to read that book at first. But my mom said, "You should read it. Listen to me." And after a lot of thinking, I read the book, and it was very surprisingly good, because I didn't expect it to be like some sort of like a conversation, because the book is like having someone, not someone like as a figure, but someone that understands you through the words.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's beautiful. Oh, I'm really pleased. Um, so what else were you struggling with at that age then? What actual things were you struggling, like were you struggling with your confidence? How else do you feel that it helped you in that sense?
Yeah, well, as I've said before, I have always put my standards and expectations very high, and I've always tried to be and to do the best I could. By doing that, I've caused the opposite effect, which is increasing my lack of self-confidence and obsession for perfectionism. So it was so hard for me seeing the bright side of life, and I've always managed to see flaws in everything, and especially in myself. So
Oh,
that situation led me in making not very good choices. In fact, I was starting to be around people that were not very good for me. Let's just say that they are the better without them type of people.
okay.
um, and yeah, I think most of the teenagers know what I meant here.
Yeah.
And moreover, those choices worsened the relationship I had with my parents,
Okay.
because remember that we would argue a lot, and overall I felt like I was all by myself, all alone, with no one that actually and deeply understand me. So I've always detached myself from everyone.
Okay. So you felt that the book, reading the book, actually helped to kind of touch a bit deeper then.
Yes, yes, because as I said before, it was like finally being understood. My growing heart helped me discover who I really am, also my true identity, which is a thing that most of teens struggle. And also, I've managed to improve my relationship with others, not only my parents, but in general. I started to see not the flaws in everything. I've started to appreciate more, to be grateful more about things and people, you know.
Oh,
So
that's really pleased. Really pleased to hear that. That's just lovely. Do you feel that because I open up about my insecurities in the book, do you think that helped?
Yes, yes. Actually, what I love most about the book, it was not like you were the one who was having problem, the only one. It's like talking to a friend without
Oh,
actually talking,
mhm.
because you open up and it felt like it was more intimate. It didn't felt like I was the one who is being cured and only talking and only managing to improve myself. The fact that you open up in the book really helped me because I felt like I was not the only one going through what I've been through. So I felt like it was a journey going through what I've been together, not only me. So
Oh,
I really love about that the part when you put also yourself, your backstory, your background in the book. I think that is a good passage to make the readers feel like they're not alone.
oh, that's lovely. Oh, I'm really glad you liked it. As I said, to everybody out there that, like I haven't spoken to you, Genesis, for a couple of years, so it's just lovely hearing all this again. It's lovely to hear how much you love the book. Because before we came on in this interview, I just asked Genesis if she remembered reading the book, and she says, "Oh yeah, of course. Like of course I remember it. Because I think it did help to
Yes,
transform your life, didn't it?"
yes, yes, because I was not very an open up person, and I think only my mom knew what I was going through. Not because I told her, but because she's very intuitive and I don't know, she can read people. That's that's her thing.
It's
I
her
don't know about.
superpower.
Yeah, that's your secret power. So she told me, well, you should try to open up, and that was the sentence that I've always heard, but I've always said to her, no, mom, I just can't. And she always told me, now you should talk to a friend that I've met. Her name is Nadia, and from that it started everything.
Yeah.
Because I've met Nadia and also I've managed to read her beautiful book. And that's when my life actually improved because,
Oh, I'm so
yeah,
glad. I am so glad because it's just about really managing our emotions, isn't it? And what I do in the book is I try to make it clear about, how we kind of have to get out of our head and help you to focus on what you really want as opposed to sort of thinking, because we tend to, everybody, no matter what age we are, is go over stuff over and over again in our head, but not really focus on what it is. We just replay bad stuff over and over again. So it's just about putting your focus into, an area that's going to help. Now, how did you feel, because in this book I write, I ask questions. How did you feel? How did you feel about answering those questions?
yeah. Another thing that I love about the book is how it managed to involve you personally and also by doing self work, self thinking, which I think is very important. It's not only reading, it's also doing.
Mm-hmm.
And I think after all the chapters, the fact that there are questions, it's really important because it can show what did you learn about the chapter, and also what do you think, how do you see yourself, how do you perceive yourself, and also the people around you. It was very an important thing that you added because like reading everyone can do it, but the self work is very important. That's why I said that this book really changed me because of that part.
Oh,
And answering those questions actually made me think, because reading the chapter was very good. I love the writing style. I love how you put all the background story and everything, but the part where the question and exercises is actually more important than the chapter itself,
yeah.
and I found it very, very helpful.
Mm. I always say
So
that, the questions, when I write, the power is not in my words. My words are there just to open people up, to help them to recognize and see themselves. But the power
yes,
is in your words, the words that you write. And that's why I kind of, my sort of branding or my is writing your happily ever after, because like I can write, but it's up to you. It's up to everybody as individuals to write their own happily ever after. And when you write, it really connects, it comes from the soul. So I think writing down your goals and writing down and having the right questions, being asked the right questions, really helps you to open up. Because I know on my journey to finding myself, I had to really write and ask myself all these questions, and that's what I try to share with the readers. So what else have I got to ask you? Right. So who would you recommend this book to? Who would you say would be benefit? Who would it benefit?
Well, I could say that the most accurate target that this book is aimed for is obviously teenagers, but I would actually recommend this to adults and preteens, just because so they have a taste of what life will be like. It's always important to be aware of the future, to be future oriented, and also the adults can see how their teenage years improve. And not only that, because we also think that everyone thinks that only teenager struggles and with those stuff, but actually young adults and adults in general have those struggles too. And it doesn't matter what age you are, it's not about the age, it's about your life, your path, your journey. And I think
Absolutely.
this book is a target. The best target would be, yeah, teenagers, of course, but also adults and preteens. I would
Mhm.
definitely
Oh, that's
recommend.
good. And I think also with adults reading them, especially maybe mothers like me, I've got children, I've got teenage children, also to help them to remind them what it's like, and to to understand that when your teenager's screaming at you or whatever, that they're not doing it through malice. It's just because they can't manage their emotions, or they're having struggling with their emotions. And I think it just helps to kind of help us to be aware of our behavior. And as you said, it's good for adults as too, because I think as teenagers, like you've gone through this. I think I'm grateful that you read this book, because it really was the fuel for me and it really helped me. But the fact that you have got this now foundation, so you now are able to move forward with more clarity. Do you feel that your future is more? Are you feeling more optimistic about the future now?
Yes, yes, definitely. Right now, you can see me more healthier and confident, even in talking, which I was not really back then, if you remember.
Yeah.
And but I've always actually been future oriented, is about the situation you are in that may get you lost sometimes, but it's okay to get lost. This is what I want to say, because it's not always like you have a path and you have to stay there. It's okay to get lost, because you will see different perspectives, and also you will learn what's it's best for you.
Mm,
Because if you always stand straight and you don't see other perspectives, or you don't do experiences, it's not going to help you. Actually, all of those things are not wasting your time, are actually very helpful to understand more about what you really want from your future, from your life. Also, to discover your true identity. This is why it's very important.
yeah. You're just so for 19 you're so wise, and I like to think that the book had something to do with that, to help you to really see yourself. And I remember when we
Yes.
finished, I don't know if you'll remember this, but when we finished going over the book together, I remember you saying that how you wanted then you said, I really want to be able to help other people do the same as I've done and help them through. I want to inspire. I remember you saying to me, I want to write a book in the future to inspire young people as I've inspired you. And that for me was just like something that I'll always remember, that you felt that you really wanted to be a light in the world. How do you feel now? I don't know if you remember that.
Actually, yes, it was very odd. And I think that it really helped me, because when I was like 16, 17, I used to think that the future is going to be scary and I couldn't handle it, too much pressure and everything. But right now, I'm not fearing anything anymore. Of course, everybody has their fears. But in general, I'm saying that it's better to face those things, because if you're always fearing and if you always have these fears inside of you, you will never face them and you will never achieve what you want from life. So
Yeah, it's about
yeah.
breaking through those fears, isn't it? And I'm really glad. Obviously, Janice's mum is one of my good friends, and so obviously her mum, Yolanda, has an influence over Genesis as well. So we've got to be grateful for the mum that you do have, and she's a wonderful woman. But also, it's also good to have somebody that's not your parent, I think, to be able to talk to, isn't it? So you can have, that to build, because it's sometimes difficult to actually be that honest with your parents. Or how do you feel about that? What do you think?
Well, right now I'm more prone to open up to my parents, of course. Back then I was like a shell
Mm-hmm.
and I was so rigid. But right now I have a good relationship with both of them. We joke a lot. We have great times, of course. But of course, we also argue. It's normal. It's in
Yeah.
the everyday life. It's just it's not often, it's
Yeah.
very rare. Back then it was like a thing that it was like an everyday thing. Right
Mm-hmm.
now it's not anymore, so I'm very grateful for that too.
Oh, good. Oh, good. So it's really helped you in all areas of your life then, has it?
um I think that like I have a great relationship with both of them. Of course, my mother is very a wise person, so she helped me more on those things. And I think that what I can advise for other teenagers is that no matter how hard things are, don't lose like the great relationship you have with your parents, because you can change them. It's your family, you know. And even if you don't have any friends, just try to open up to your parents. I know it's difficult because it sounds a little bit too forced, but you can do it slowly, not to say everything, because your parents needs to know who you are and to help you. Otherwise, they don't know what they can help you about, what they can say about you if they don't know you in the first place. So I think this is very important.
That's very wise. It's just amazing. You're just so wise for your age, Genesis, and it's beautiful to see. For me to come on here and talk to you today, to see, when I met you when you were 16, and sort of how you were feeling, sort of, struggling emotionally, and to see how you've blossomed into this just beautiful young woman, full of confidence and light. And I'm so proud of you.
Thank you so much.
um, So anything else? I think that's really all that we really wanted to cover. How do you feel? I just want to ask you one more thing. How do you feel about the future, and how, like, you'll have your goals. I don't know if you want to talk about them here, but but you'll have your goals. How do you feel about moving forward from now? How does, the book has obviously helped you get to here, but how do you feel about the future now?
Yes. Now I feel more confident, and I've always been future oriented through my whole life. But now I'm more looking forward to it and actually making plans um, to set my achievements and my goals. And right now I'm on the last year of high school, so I'm really looking forward through to go to university. And yeah, I'm really happy about it. I
Oh,
know I know it's going to get difficult. Oh, I know. But it's just the life, you can't just pretend that everything you will face is going to be easy or at your favor. If you really want something, you have to know that there's going to be some trials, some sacrifices that you need to take, to do, and to face. And that's why I'm not fearing the future anymore, because um, I think it just adds more pressure and you're just more anxious about it, which is not really a necessity.
mhm.
I think feeling that you already achieved what you haven't yet is like a great step to see the bigger picture. to see who you will be in like 5 years or 10 years. This is a thing also my mom taught me, and yeah, I'm really excited for the future.
Oh, I'm really, really glad. It's so lovely to hear you say all these things. It's so lovely. You're doing so well, and I'm just so proud of you, Genesis. Well, thank you so much for coming on and doing this interview. I really, really appreciate it. I just, as I said, I mean, I knew at the time how much that, the book, the effect it had on you at the time, and I remember I could see the little changes in you as as you were going through the book. But now that I see you 2 years on, and you've just blossomed into this beautiful woman, full of joy and enthusiasm for the future, I'm really proud of you, and I'm so grateful for for this interview and for sharing your story with me.
Thank you so much.
Oh.
And also for this interview, of course.
Okay, thank you so much. So everybody, so this is our interview with the beautiful Genesis and the effect it has. So my book, My Growing Heart, it's not just about telling teenagers, as Genesis says, what to do. It's about asking the right questions. It's giving them examples of my own life and how my life and how it changed and how to change your way of thinking and how to see life from another perspective, and also to see it from your parents' point of view as well, just to be able to sort of get out of yourself really and start to be more aware of the people around you and of the way your behavior affects others as well. What would you say, Genesis? That seems to be about right, doesn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. So thank you everybody for tuning in and for listening to us, and thank you again for everything. Bye everybody. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.